Alright, I'm going to do my thoughts and conclusions on the ZRS primers. But before that, if you like the content, I'd like to ask you, if you like the content of the channel and the way this series is going, please subscribe and hit the like button down below. If you'd like to send some support to the channel, there's a link in the description box to my Patreon account. Thank you. So, now, as we go on, ZSRs. If you go around and look on YouTube, you'll find some conflicting things about them. Some people hate these primers. Some people love them and say there's absolutely no problem whatsoever with them. Well, in my assessment of these, first of all, when I ran them through the test guns, and I only ran 50 rounds, which is kind of hard to judge from that, but I didn't have any light strikes other than with this BRG9 Elite. Now, not to say that this gun has a problem, but when I received this weapon, and even now when I put it back in the case, it had a heavy coating of the oil they put on these guns before they ship them. And it's a little bit different than standard oil. It's not for lubrication, it's to protect the metal. And it's quite heavy. I had to take the striker system out and clean it. And that will be in another video because YouTube doesn't allow these modification or disassembly videos anymore. But I will put a link to the video explaining what happened and what I've done. And basically all you do is take the slide off and kind of flush the back end of it out with carburetor cleaner. And if you have the same type of problem, that should take care of it. But that'll be on another video on another platform where I'm able to show you the internal parts in that. So there'll be a link to that there. Alright, now back to the primers. These here, they were difficult to see. I was using mixed range brass, so I have a whole assortment of different types of brass. And using my bench priming tool, I did notice with these primers there was an awful lot of effort, an awful lot of force to go in to seat some of these. I did have issues with them, okay? Another thing, when I looked at the primers, the edge of the cup was kind of jagged and rough. Now, how primers are made is they probably stamp a little tiny disc out of a piece of sheet metal and then form it in a cup. So it's cut like a cookie cutter, probably. I'm assuming, not quite sure. If the die or the machinery or the tool doing this gets dull, I've been a machinist for 40 years, okay? With the crisis and all the halt in manufacturing and the disruption of the supply chain and all the stuff that we've been dealing with these past few years, a lot of these ammunition companies are working round the clock as fast as they can to get product out to meet the demand. Probably what happens is as the tools get dull, it'll leave this rough thing on there. Now, these primers had them in one other brand, and I'll mention it when we get to them. So I believe they were running it to the edge to where the tools were getting dull. Whether or not this has an effect on it, but if the tool was dull to cut the edge, maybe the tool or the punch to form the cup was also dull or getting worn. So your cup size is a little off, okay, from a dull tool. And I mean, it's only in thousands, but it makes a difference on some of them when you put pressure down. Now, another thing too is there are lot numbers on these items, okay? That's how they keep track of it. This could just be a lot that had some quality issues. You could buy these primers that came from a different lot 6 months, a year ago, and they could totally function differently. But this one here, also I noticed, and when I was firing the pistols, it seemed the accuracy was off. In other words, I fired 5 different handguns and went through the test, and generally 1 or 2 of the guns would be fairly accurate with the ammo and hit the center. On the target there, if you watch the video, I kind of didn't, and they were actually spread out quite wide, the group. So I believe these here, and you don't know until you take the time to sit, test, adjust your load, adjust the powder, but the accuracy, I think, wasn't there with this, which I purchased Turkish ammunition in the past. Years ago, they had some 5.56. It was fairly reasonable. I mean, the ammunition was very nice, very clean, and, you know, functioned well. The gun, the AR functioned well and it shot, but the accuracy was just not there. So that's why I'm going to start talking about accuracy as I go along with these. I don't believe these were giving the results for the accuracy that I needed. So these here have an extremely difficult time seating them, the size is off, and the accuracy wasn't there. Other than that though, all of them went off other than one light strike in this pistol here. Okay, that was the only light strike I had in further testing also. So these here, and they're about $75, $80 a box. I, myself, in my opinion, I would avoid these primers. Now there's guys out there that said they've used them and everything else and they were fine. They're kind of difficult to load, and I think the quality's slightly off on these. Okay, and that's my opinion. Also, if you've had any experience with these or know anything, please put your experiences down in the comment box to help everyone as a group effort to kind of evaluate these things as we go along. But I will do a thing where I cover all 5 of them and do an overall view of all of them and give my recommendations there in another video at the end of the series. All right, thank you and stay tuned.